Today we're going to be speaking about how we speak to people from different cultures and different nationalities as we move around in our lives, in our jobs, in our friendships, in our travel experiences. What are the things that we need to keep in mind when we meet people from different cultures, be it at work, be it on a Tinder swipe, be it in a digital nomad community networking event, be it at a restaurant, be it at a wedding, be it anywhere. How do we navigate these beautiful experiences and our connections when we meet people? How do we not come across as stupid, foolish, or arrogant when we come across people from different cultures? In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about the top 3 do's and don'ts that you should be keeping in mind when you meet people from different nationalities. The first one, don't stereotype. I really respect all your knowledge that you have had about this particular culture unless you have not traveled over there. Like, don't come up with stereotypes that you have heard about a certain nationality. Like, many a times people, when you say that, okay, you're from India, they're like, oh, you're from India. Or one of my friends who's from Colombia, she says that many times when I meet people on like my Tinder dates, like they say, oh, you're from Colombia, so you must be like snorting cocaine. And she's like, that's just so annoying because I'm like, a lawyer in human rights, and this is something I haven't given and I don't need to give an explanation. However, the person who's commenting or making these kind of remarks is the one who looks foolish. So don't stereotype, don't come across as foolish. Be very calculative when you meet the person for the first time on what is it that you say. So don't stereotype. Second is don't pick up fights. Don't pick up fights on their culture, on their history, on what their president did or what happened in like the past. Don't even show some aggression about how you feel about it, especially not the first time and not even the second time, because it's something that you don't do to people. You don't attack people for something that they are not personally responsible for, unless you already have proof about, like, okay, you have like a person who's right there in the news and you want to like attack them. That's something different. I can understand that. But don't attack people for something that the country has done. Don't make the person responsible for an entire country for somebody else's actions, because that's also not fair. Imagine somebody does that to you. I have done that. I have done this in the past where when I was younger and foolish, where I used to call out people who I used to just meet like traveling, who were Brits specifically. I'm really sorry. Like, if you're watching this video, whoever has been in this conversation with me, I used to call them out because where these movies have been shown to us, which is a part of the real history as well, a lot of jewelry was robbed from the country. So whenever I used to meet people from England, I used to call them out by saying that your country has robbed my country. You guys are just rich because of like, and pick up fights. They would say no, they would ask me questions and I would instigate it. So that is some kind of like repressed suppression of frustration that comes from something else that is not really dealt with properly. So deal with your frustrations. Don't be what I used to be in my younger years, because that is really, the only person who looks stupid is you. Next is don't say anything that you don't know. Don't just invent things because you want to have a conversation by saying that, oh, I've heard that in India you don't have electricity, or I've heard like in Amazon you do this, or in Colombia you do that, or in Taipei you do this, or in China you do that. Ask. Instead of like jumping to conclusions, instead of like saying something that you have like half information, show your curiosity by being polite and ask. Ask about their culture, ask things that you are interested in. You don't tell people like what you have stereotyped across what has been shown to you in the movies or what you have seen in some comedy act where people are like being ridiculed. No. Number 3 is don't conclude and express things that you don't know. Half information is way more dangerous and not really necessary. Like, it's better to be silent instead of saying something really foolish. Like, I've heard many people, whenever I've told them that I'm from India, they're like, oh, I've heard in India you don't have electricity. Oh, I've heard in India you still have cows. Like, I don't want to sit there and give an explanation saying that, like, hello, like, half of your country is run by Indians in the tech, or maybe the Prime Minister of UK is from India, or all these explanations. Like, I don't need to give that, because this shows how less read and less traveled this person is. Like, I understand you don't travel around the world, perhaps because you cannot, maybe because of work or whatever your personal reasons, but at least travel mentally and like through books and have certain information, not through like just TikTok or like, just random videos. Just don't say anything that you don't know. Be open to hear what the other person has to say. So with so many don'ts, what are the things that we could actually be doing when we are meeting people from different nationalities? One of the things is to be very genuine. if you're really interested in knowing about their culture, ask them genuine questions. So the first thing is ask genuine questions. If you're meeting them in a place, for example, if they're in your country and they're away from there, so you could ask them, how does it feel being over here? How long have you been here for? And what do you miss about your country? Be genuine and ask questions that you also sense the vibe of the person who's willing and engaging in the conversation with you or not. If you meet a person for the first time when you're traveling, you could ask them about where are they traveling and how is their country, what place are they from, and how is it like over there, what's the culture, what's the gastronomy, do people from there travel to this part of the world more often because of, I don't know. Second is share what you like about the country. If you like the dance, if you like the music, if you like the food, if you like a particular movie, if you travel, speak about your experiences, speak about what you've learned. Ask them questions about the things that you didn't know anything about or you couldn't learn. So have that conversation about sharing what you like, sharing what you know in the most humble way about all the good things. So whenever you're sharing, share the good things, share about your memories. I understand if you've had a bad experience, you could also share that. I'm not saying don't share anything bad about it, but learn how to communicate that. It shouldn't come across that you are imposing the frustration or imposing the suffering of any of your experience into the person or onto the person that you've actually met. So share what you like, share what you've learned, and share the good things. Lastly, what you should be doing when you meet people from different nationalities is be utterly honest and say what you don't know. Don't try to boost your knowledge and fake it by saying that, oh yeah, I know about this, oh yeah, I know what's the capital of your country, oh yeah, I know about your country more. Like, just calm down about your ego, about what you know and what you don't. Be okay to accept some ignorance, because many a times it's really good to be ignorant instead of speaking bullshit. It's great because that way you learn a lot more, because you'll be able to hear and you'll be really curious. So the last thing is be honest, be utterly honest, and learn to say I don't know. Learn to accept your lack of knowledge about a certain subject, which will open you to actually learn a lot more and nourish new learnings. Because just saying that, I know a lot of people who say I know because I've met them, I've lived with them, and I have dealt with them. So these kind of people are the ones who don't really know a lot. So learn to say I don't know. If somebody's saying about I'm from this particular city, you could say, it's really, don't be ashamed of saying I don't know where it is. Can you tell me what part is it closer to this? Ask real questions, and that will only come when you're honest, when you're not trying to like put up like, oh yeah, I'm like this smart ass pants around over here and I know everything about your country and about your geography. Like, just say I don't know if you're having a conversation, because that's how you'll nurture friendships, you'll make friendships, you'll understand each other's cultures, you'll open some new things in your head, in your perspectives, you'll learn something definitely new. And not just when you meet new people, in life in general, you should be learning to say I don't know more often as well when you really don't know things, because then you will actually learn things.